What would you do if you hid your ex-husband's child from him? And then, on the day you gave birth, your doctor took off his mask. And it was him? Because that's exactly what happened to me. I got divorced at 27, at a time when everything in my life felt completely broken. In Manila, people didn't have to say anything. I could see it in their eyes. To them, I was a failure. No husband, no child, no support. My friends became distant. My relatives looked at me with quiet pity, and I learned to live with it. But what no one knew was that the moment I signed those cold divorce papers, I was already carrying his child. His name was Miguel Santos. He wasn't a bad man. He never was. He was just quiet. Too quiet. And sometimes silence hurts more than words ever could. His mother, on the other hand, was the complete opposite. Loud, controlling. And from the very beginning, she made it clear I would never be good enough for her son. The breaking point came after my miscarriage. I was lying in a hospital bed, in pain, alone. Miguel came late. His mother didn't come at all. And that night, she looked me in the eyes and said something I will never forget. In this family, we don't keep a woman who can't give us a child. Miguel said nothing, and somehow, that silence destroyed everything. I didn't fight. I didn't scream. I just signed the divorce papers and walked away. 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. I remember staring at the test. 2 red lines. My hands were shaking, my heart racing. But I felt nothing. No joy, no tears, just fear. I should have called him. I should have told him the truth, but I couldn't. I was afraid he'd think I was trying to come back, afraid his mother would take my child away. And more than anything, I was afraid of seeing pity in his eyes. So I disappeared. For 9 months, I lived like I was hiding from the world. I quit my job, moved into a small rented room, changed my number, deleted my social media, avoided everyone who knew me. Every time a doctor asked about the father, I forced a smile and said, "He's not around." And then, the day came. The pain hit suddenly. Strong, unstoppable. I was rushed to a small hospital in Manila, barely able to breathe, gripping the sheets as the contractions took over. A doctor walked in, tall, thin, face completely hidden behind a mask. "Push," he said. "The baby's coming." I did, again and again, through the pain, through the fear. And then, he pulled his mask down, and I froze because standing in front of me was the man I had been hiding from for 9 months. Miguel, the man I had been hiding from, was standing right in front of me, and for a second, I couldn't breathe. "Please," I whispered, my voice shaking. "Put your mask back on." He did, but his eyes didn't leave mine. "Doctor, should we continue?" the nurse asked. And there was a pause, a small one, but it felt like everything was hanging on it. "Continue," he said finally. "Follow the procedure." His voice was steady, the same steady voice he used the night his mother humiliated me. And he chose silence. Then another contraction hit, sharp, crushing, and through the pain, one thought kept repeating in my head. This is my fault. I hid the truth. I ran. And then, his voice changed, softer, almost careful. "Lina, listen to me. Don't tense up. I'm here." I froze, wondering how long it had been since he last said my name like that. I didn't want you to know," I whispered, barely able to speak, but he didn't answer. "Push," he said instead, more firmly this time. "You can't stop now." And then a cry broke through everything, sharp, alive. "It's a boy, 3 kilos." And I broke too. Tears just came out. I didn't even realize I was crying until I couldn't stop. Miguel cut the cord, his hands shaking. He didn't cry, but something in his face cracked. Hours later, I was lying in a hospital room, my son sleeping in a clear plastic crib beside me, wrapped in white, so small it scared me. That night, the door opened, and Miguel walked in. No white coat this time, just a gray t-shirt and jeans. He stopped a few steps away from the crib, like he wasn't sure he had the right to come closer. "Why are you here?" I asked quietly. He didn't answer right away, his eyes moving from me to the baby and back again. "Lina," he said, his voice lower now, almost unsteady. "What did you do?" I wanted to turn away, hide, disappear again, but I couldn't, not anymore. "I didn't tell you, because I was afraid," I said slowly. "Afraid you'd think I was trying to come back, afraid your mother would take him from me." My voice broke, and I couldn't survive that. Silence fell between us, heavy, real, and then he stepped closer, just one step. But everything changed with it. When his mother found out, she didn't call. She showed up. No warning, no hesitation. She just walked straight into the hospital like she still owned every part of his life, including mine. She stopped in the doorway, her eyes locking on the baby in my arms. And for a long moment, no one said a word. Then she stepped forward, slow, controlled. "I want to see my grandson." Her voice was calm, too calm. But before I could even react, Miguel moved. He stepped in front of me, not aggressively, not loudly, but firmly. "He's my son," he said, "and she's his mother." That was it. No shouting, no drama, just a line drawn. For the first time, he didn't stay silent. His mother's expression changed, not anger, not even shock, but something colder. "You're choosing her?" she asked quietly. Miguel didn't hesitate. "I'm choosing what's right." Silence followed, heavy, final. She looked at him for a long second, then turned and walked away. No goodbye, no scene, just gone. That night, I cried, not from pain, not from fear, but from something I hadn't felt in a very long time, relief. Months passed. I didn't go back to being his wife, and he never asked me to. We became something else, co-parents, friends, two people learning, slowly, how to do better than before. Sometimes I would watch him hold our son, rocking him gently to sleep, and I could see it in his eyes. Regret and something else. Love. Real love. The kind that doesn't speak loudly, but stays. One evening, as our son slept between us, Miguel said quietly, "I almost lost you," because I was too afraid to speak. I didn't answer, but I didn't walk away either. He never forced his way back into my life, never asked for forgiveness, never brought his mother around again. And when I finally asked him why, he said, "Because I couldn't protect you back then. The least I can do now is protect your peace." A month later, he signed the papers and recognized our son. This time, his hands didn't shake. And me? I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if love comes back the same way. But I do know this. My child will grow up seeing a father who showed up and a mother who chose courage over fear. And sometimes, that's what a happy ending really looks like. Not perfect, not loud, but real. He looked at his mother and said calmly but firmly, "He's my son, and she's his mother, and if you can't respect that, you won't be part of his life." And that was the first time I had ever heard him raise his voice for me. And she didn't argue, didn't scream. She just turned and walked away without another word. And that night I cried. Not from pain, but from the overwhelming feeling that something inside me had finally been set free. And as the months passed, I didn't go back to being his wife, and he never asked me to. Instead, we became something else, something quieter, but more real. Co-parents, friends, two people slowly learning how to do better than before. And sometimes I would watch him holding our son, gently rocking him to sleep, and I could see it in his eyes, the regret, but also something deeper. Something that hadn't been there before. And one evening, as our child slept between us, he whispered, "I almost lost you because I was too afraid to speak." And I didn't answer. But I didn't walk away either. And from that moment on, he never tried to force his way back into my life. Never asked for forgiveness. Never brought his mother near us again. And when I finally asked him why, he said quietly, "Because I couldn't protect you back then. The least I can do now is protect your peace." And a month later, he signed the papers and officially recognized our son. This time, his hands didn't shake. And I realized I didn't know what the future would bring or if love could ever come back the same way. But I knew one thing for sure. My child would grow up seeing a father who chose to show up and a mother who chose courage over fear. And sometimes, that's what a happy ending really looks like. Not perfect, not loud, but real.